Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Cheers to all of you. You made it through another long, hard week in 2020. Grab yourself a beer, a glass of wine, a martini, a vodka, a tequila, whatever your thing is, or just sit back and enjoy the conversation without a drink. But you have earned it. So excited for tonight's conversation with Stephanie Szostak, the star of the ABC hit series A Million Little Things, an awesome show. They're currently filming it in Vancouver, season number 3. So it should be really interesting to talk to her about filming a show right now with the backdrop of COVID and all that's going on. She is one of our proud Westport residents. I'm Dave Briggs. You can follow me at Dave Briggs TV. You can weigh in there. Let me know who you'd like to see interviewed, and let me know if you have any questions for our upcoming guests. Now, guests can now include Greenwich, Stamford, Darien, Fairfield, Weston, Wilton. We are going to be expanding into all of those towns, so please let me know who you'd like to see interviewed, and we will try to reach out to them. Again, a little more on tonight's guest that we're so excited to welcome in. Stephanie Szostak was raised in the suburbs of Paris, went to college at William and Mary, where she played varsity golf. She went to work at Chanel in marketing, and then took up acting at 29 in what has become a wildly successful career in acting. You might know her. If you don't know A Million Little Things, we'll tell you what you're missing. You might know her from movies like The Devil Wears Prada with Meryl Streep, Dinner with Schmucks with Paul Rudd and Steve Carell. You might know her from Iron Man 3, or My Kids, They Worship the movie We Bought a Zoo. That's with Matt Damon back in 2011. So she's acted alongside some legends and some incredible leading men as well. And she is lovely, she is wonderful, she is talented, and she is a self-proclaimed beer girl. And that's why I have a beer tonight as opposed to my usual tequila or whatever it might be. So excited to talk to her about that, about A Million Little Things, about her family here in Westport, or about being 2,400 miles away from them in Vancouver. So let's welcome in Stephanie Szostak, or Short Stack for those of you that follow her on Instagram. That's not how you say it. It is Stephanie Szostak, and here she is all the way from Vancouver. Hello, my friend.
Well, hello, nice to meet you.
It's wonderful to meet you as well. What was the beer? Show us again.
So it's a local, I decided to go local, Vancouver. Can you read, or is it upside down? It's upside down. It's called Chase My Tail.
Chase My Tail. I love that. That's fantastic. Have you had it before?
No, I went to the liquor store and I said, what's a good local IPA? And she recommended this one, and I thought, well, that's a catchy name. I'll take it.
I usually buy beer based on the can as well. There's so many fun names and cans of beers. But you said right away you're a beer girl, and I tried to coax you into tequila to no avail. Why are you a beer girl?
Probably because I can't really handle anything else. Let me open this. This is a good sound, right? There. No, I really actually like the taste of beer. I love Guinness. Cheers.
But how do you say cheers in French? Because is it à ta santé?
À ta santé means to your health, but we typically say chin chin.
Chin chin?
Chin chin, yes.
Okay.
Or chin.
Well, my Google search was not fruitful. So finish that thought.
You could say à ta santé also.
Okay, so you can't handle the hard stuff. You figure you have a few beers, you'll have more longevity into the evening.
I had in my 20s, a very memorable night after tequila shots in the bathroom. So, I decided to switch to beer. I do actually really love beer. I love the taste of beer, and it's good because I'm 3 hours behind you. I usually don't drink this early, but because we had to make it work for the East Coast, I'm drinking at 3:30 in the afternoon alone in my apartment.
I really appreciate the fact that you're drinking for us at 3:30 Vancouver time. But isn't that kind of how we all did it the last 6 months? I mean, there were a lot of days that happy hour moved to 3:30 for me.
Yeah, me too. I did it with my parents in France. They're 6 hours ahead. So we were,
So you really, so a little more like, the occasional 2 o'clock happy hour. It's okay. We won't judge. It's been a long, hard year. So tell me what it's like in Vancouver and how different it is shooting a show with the backdrop of COVID. It actually makes me feel a lot better that you are shooting season 3 of A Million Little Things. It makes me think we're at least turning the corner a little bit on this thing.
yeah, I mean, I think we're one of the first shows that went into production. So it's a little bit of trial and error, but they're doing, I mean, the precautions are amazing. It takes longer to shoot, but we all have masks. There's no, typically, you have hair and makeup that's on you all the time. They can't come to the actual set. They have to watch from a monitor, and you have to step out if you want to do it. We get tested. It's kind of like the athletes, we get tested multiple times a week, or like journalists like you. I mean, it's very reassuring. We're also in British Columbia where the numbers are super low. It's very smoky right now, the air quality, because of the fire.
From the wildfires.
It's quite a year. It's quite a year, but on the bright side of things, just to be working feels really lucky, and it's a great group of people. So
yeah, it has been quite a year. It has been a doozy. We can actually see some of the smoke here in Westport. I know you haven't been here in a while, but it is actually part of the atmosphere now. I was out on the golf course wondering why I couldn't see the sun, and my playing partner said, yeah, that's the wildfires. And if you look at the sun late in the day, it is smoke that is filtering it. It's very odd when you think about how far. Shocking, right?
Yes. Should we go down and just go into like how miserable this year is, or I actually talk about what you just said? You were on the golf course and be like, are you a golfer? I'm a golfer.
Yeah, you played varsity golf at William and Mary. I'm not that kind of golfer. I'm more of a hack, but I love playing. I mean, I really enjoy a round at Longshore. How much do you still play? How good are you?
No, I'm no longer. I wasn't that good. I was a 5 handicap in college.
Whoa.
But for college, if you say varsity golf, you could think like UT or Arizona. I played at William and Mary, which is not a great golf school.
But you were a 5 handicap. I would call it a day if I was ever a 5 handicap, and I would just, if I just shot one round, I would probably just call it a career. Are you still pretty good? Do you play around town?
Longshore is one of my favorite places to play because it's, the public course. It's super laid back. People walk. You can smell the ocean. I love playing there.
I do too. It is a lot harder to get on nowadays because of COVID. It used to be show up and you'd probably get on. Now, 2 weeks out, as soon as the tee times open up, they are gone. So it's a lot tougher to play a round of golf. But I try to get out as much as I can. Not all of us can find that time, but it certainly is just a wonderful way to spend a day down at Longshore. We're so lucky to have it. One of the Toxic Avenger 93 wants to know if we're going to answer fan questions. So
I'm too old. I can't read comments and listen to you. But if you can do that, let's do it.
Okay. So Toxic Avenger 93, we will answer some fan questions after we get through a little bit of this. I'll write them down. We'll ask them here at the end. So go ahead and ask Stephanie some. But I want to get into to A Million Little Things. I love the show. I, generally speaking, watch sports, news, and whatever my wife likes. And my wife loves that show. She did from day one. And it wasn't hard to convince me because it's fantastic. It is really good. To the folks that don't watch it, You Lost Your Husband was the backdrop of the show. And to me, it's really about friendship, getting through a crisis, parenting as well. But friendship seems at the core to me. How would you explain the show to the folks out there that haven't seen it?
Yeah, I think it's a show definitely about a group. Like 30 something. Remember the show in the 80s where it was just about a group of friends and them dealing with parenthood and just life. So it's a group of friends who sort of came together, um, not naturally. The guys got stuck on an elevator. So it's like people coming from sort of different backgrounds that not necessarily would have become friends, but they were strangers and they really bonded on this elevator. You know, sometimes you can really open up to a stranger, like at a bar. But so these people became close friends, and the show opens up with a catastrophe, like the guy who's like who's the glue to the friend group uh, kills himself, and so when nobody expected it, nobody knew that he was dealing with any sort of emotional, trauma or anything. And so it's about them navigating the aftermath and then realizing that they're not necessarily living the life that they thought they were going to be living, and also exploring how much we talk to one another, really. And it's you just learn what they all are dealing with. I loved it. But and also this can sound pretty dark, but the humor is really good. DJ Nash, who writes the show, comes from comedy. So there's a certain lightness to it that's very realistic, which really seduced me.
Yeah, it is a terrific show. I really enjoyed. I highly recommend everyone check it out. I said I was going to wait till the end to ask a fan question, but because her question was just so good, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to you. Can is your is your tongue long enough to touch your nose?
It is. Who knows that?
I don't, clearly a very big fan of yours knows that. So
Yeah, I can't do it anymore.
okay, do it again. I can't even get close. Wow, that's impressive.
It, oh.
That is very impressive. Back to the show now. I think it's, though we're entering season 3, it feels to me kind of therapeutic, emblematic of the times we're going through, because I think we're all kind of going through a really hard time. It might not be the death of a loved one, but everything we're going through is so hard. And I think it's brought a lot of friends closer together. I know we're supposed to be distancing, but most I know are coming together close with their small group of cohorts, that small group of friends. And they're also learning to parent through this crisis. So it's kind of emblematic for the times we're all going through, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Friends, you really sort of have your, yeah, normally you have a bigger circle, and so this has forced us to have our small circle. And also we're dealing with a lot of time home on top of one another, and that's creating new challenges. And so you have your friends to talk about that too. And yeah. uh,
Any surprises you can let us in on? Will there be a real surprise with Delilah in
uh,
season 3?
well, the big surprise was the end of season 2 where you
The
see,
crash.
yeah, so
Okay.
that's gonna be the big surprise.
That's going to play out, and we're going to learn who was behind that crash.
Perhaps. You're so good, Dave.
Perhaps, but you're not going to really lead on to where we're headed in season 3. There's no tease you can give your fans that are out here watching.
um let's see if there's any no, I don't know. No.
Do you know how the season's going to play out, or do you show up each day and kind of learn?
We know a little bit. We get a little bit of an arc. DJ's really funny because he'll tell you, okay, I'm just going to tell you, but don't tell any of the other castmates because I want them to find out. When sometimes we do tell. DJ, sorry.
But not here, not tonight, unfortunately. So you have kids here in Westport, and the
Yes.
same age, I believe, as the kids that you raise on the show, not the baby. But Delilah has the same age kids. So does being a parent help you act as a parent, or does acting a parent help you be a real parent once you're back here?
Maybe a little bit of both. It's really, it does, being a parent really helps me like relate to these kids when I didn't know them. You know, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be the mom. It's actually, and also kind of helps me when I'm back home too, because I develop a relationship with these kids that's actually kind of a cooler, you know, I'm not the boring mom. So then when I'm home, maybe it will make me um pause at certain times and think, okay, don't react, maybe just listen to them a little more, be more in the moment, you know, instead of being just the mom and next thing to do all that.
What
But
mom are you? Are you the cool mom? Are you the tough mom? Are you the fun, the friend? Like,
I'm not the friend. I mean, I guess I'm a little bit of all of it. We're all a little bit of it, but I'm big on annoying things for kids, like manners or eating dinner at the table. Lots of French things. You know, I'm half French. I grew up in France. Meals are very important. You have to taste everything. There's no like, I want to eat this tonight. No, no, no. This is what we're eating.
and you either eat this or you don't eat at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not
I'm
a whole.
so envious. I mean, we quite often cook three different dishes, and I shouldn't say we. My wife does. I mean, there are nights where there are three different dinners served.
That's very, very sweet of her. I remember
Mm,
to Westport. My oldest son was in fifth grade, and we went to my friend's house. She has a son the same age, and he said to my son, sure you check out the menu for lunch because there's three options every day. And if you don't like the options, your mom can bring a lunch, send you to school with a lunch. And I was like, what? No, there's three options. He will. And my son's friend was like, what? And I said, yeah, you should be really lucky your mom does that.
yeah, there are three options, so enjoy them.
Yes.
So when did you move to Westport, and why did you move to Westport?
We moved in 2013, 7 years ago. We lived in the city for 16 years, and I thought I would never leave the city. And all of us, I went to do Ironman 3 in North Carolina. And when I got there, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do here? It's like in the middle of nowhere, blah, blah, blah. And after a month, I loved it. And I came back to New York, and all of a sudden the sound, just a constant noise just got to me. And my
Yeah.
husband at the same time got tired of, you know, being in crowds all the time and can't take the elevator alone. And so we thought of going to LA, but we had family in Westport, and just randomly it sort of all worked out. And I had never lived in a house my whole life. I lived in an apartment.
Stop.
Yeah.
And
But
so what was that first house experience like?
amazing. I love our town. It feels it's almost like a halfway between suburbs and country, right? There's wildlife, there's the ocean or this Long Island Sound. But yet there's all this stuff that you would want to have to make it convenient. I love it.
Now, do people bother you? Do they take selfies with you, or they let you be?
Nobody knows who I am.
Yes, yes, they do. They most certainly do. But I think people probably just want you to have your space in our town. So you grew
Paul
up in,
Newman in our town. If Paul Newman, we can all live in this.
yeah, Paul Newman. So you grew up again in the suburbs of Paris. What was that like? And can you contrast it at all from what you see your kids growing up in this blissful place of Westport?
Um, yeah, well, a lot actually of the childhood, the 80s. I'm not going to make myself so old. Of the
We're
80s
the
is,
same age.
no, I'm older than you.
About 5 minutes, but I appreciate that.
Uh, so just the freedom we had in roaming around. I feel like our kids, especially during COVID, I mean, now that because our numbers are low, they can actually hang out together more. And so my kids, my youngest one takes his bike and rides around. So there's a lot of independence that I feel we had. The schools are so much better than what I grew up in. It was public school, same as my kids here, but public school, we had no arts, nothing, no theater, no extracurricular. And then when you look at our middle school or high school, the drama program, the sports, we had none of that. We had 2 hours of PE a week. That was it. And we would come to school and have our espresso and smoke.
At what age were you coming to school with espresso and a pack of smokes?
We could smoke in the courtyard in high school.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Not,
Yeah. And does everyone still smoke there? I mean,
no.
I think, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you miss Paris?
Not really. No, I mean, I love America. Sorry, I was just going to get a
Are
little.
you sure?
Yeah. No, look, listen, I love the optimism of Americans. I love how it's also wonderful to be a foreigner. I think wherever you are, if you leave your own country and you come to a new country, there's some sort of freedom that gives you carte blanche to be whoever you really are, because you have an excuse. Oh, she's French. Oh, she's this. So
you can get away with more.
Yes, you're not. And also the French are very rigid in sort of social conduct, and there's much more of a class thing. You know, it's a lot harder. I don't think I could have ever become an actor in France. Like, it's such, everything is relations, people more than here.
Okay, some feedback here. Yes, I am drinking out of a Broncos glass.
Are you a Broncos fan?
I am a Denver Broncos fan. I'm from Denver. So it's even got my name on it. These were a gift. Are you a football fan?
My husband's a huge, well, I'm by default, because my husband and my oldest son, are big football fans. But my husband's a Bronco fan. I'm sorry about the game on Monday. I watched.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
They looked good.
Well, they looked good. Their coach didn't look so good. Clock management is not his specialty, but tell your husband we can watch a game together.
Yes.
I'd love to watch a game with him. I'm going to go to a game the first time they have fans in a couple of weeks, so maybe we can get him out there. There's a lot of you asking questions in French. I'm sorry, I cannot read French. I need to get my daughter, and Stephanie can. I'll see that. Chef Storch is wondering your favorite restaurants in Westport, which we will get to at the end of this. So that's a little tease. We're going to find out Stephanie's ideal day in Westport. I want to get back to COVID real quickly. And how was it for you? I mean, it drove me nuts when so many people were telling me how wonderful their life was, and in the quarantine and the homeschooling. It was a hot mess for me. I mean, it drove me crazy. Was there some silver linings? And what was the worst part for you?
I think I want to start by sort of like, how horrible it was for so many people who've lost parents or family members. And
Yes.
I didn't have to deal with any of this. But I think what's incredible is the whole world, for the first time, everybody's been affected, and everybody's life has been affected somewhere. Are you opening up another one?
I am. Are you?
No.
Hurry up.
But in our little world, we were, the four of us, and it was a lot of ups and downs. It was amazing. I was just coming back from being away, so it was kind of amazing to be reunited, and really reunited. But it was weird. I didn't know, with my kids, with the schooling, I didn't know how much to monitor them, not to monitor them. They were in their PJs all day long. They usually can't do PS4 during the week, but that was the only way they could be with their friends. I was cleaning the toilets.
That's probably the worst part.
Yeah, no, and my parents also, my our in-laws are in Colorado. My parents are in France. They were supposed to come to visit, and I haven't seen them since December. And they're really old, and it's it's hard. And I think also reading the new, then there were some silver linings, just walking with my husband every day, the marital walk, Allison Cameron calls it. But
Yeah.
it was really nice. Not so sexy, but kind of really nice. But then you hear the news, and it was just emotionally, it was also, you felt guilty. I was like, what? I feel fine. But then you read about what everybody's going through, and lots of ups and downs.
Yeah, I recommend, I still take the walks, only reading the New York Times, I bring what the New York Times labeled a walktail. And the walktail is something I will hold on to for the rest of my days. And the neighbors are a little less judgmental now. I think prior to COVID, they would have been like, look at the neighborhood drunk. But
Yeah.
now they think, wait, I didn't get a drink. So now I'm seeing more walktails on
What?
my street. Yeah, I need to tell Allison Camerata about that. So grab yourself a
Change
cocktails
it.
with Camerata. Yeah,
Yeah.
chase my tail. Okay, I want to get into some of your acting roles. And your first major studio film, The Devil Wears Prada, that's iconic in my house. I'm a man's man, but I've probably seen it 30 times. I know all the lines. I'm not ashamed of that. Great movie. But your first role is alongside Meryl Streep. I
Yeah.
mean, major studio role. How intimidating was that?
The month prior, I had my bathroom plastered with pictures of Meryl, so I wouldn't be intimidated.
For
But
real?
yeah, really. I was like, okay, I need to see her every day, so I'm not. But it was a really cool. I mean, it was a tiny, tiny role, but the story behind that was. Do you remember the show on HBO called Unscripted?
No.
Where it was Brian Greenberg, who was an actor, and it was sort of a reality show. And so they followed him through acting class, and then he got his first studio role. It was a movie with Uma Thurman and Meryl Streep. And my husband and I were watching the show on TV, and I said, "Ah, could you imagine if my first studio role was with Meryl Streep?" And then I auditioned. I got the audition like not that long after, and the director was David
Wow.
Frankel, and my maiden name is Frankel, and I was like, oh, maybe this is it, and so it was really cool. She was amazing.
She was.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Well, and the plastered pictures all over. So another little quirk about Westport, and I don't know how many people know this, you live here, Anne Hathaway lives here, and of course the author of Devil Wears Prada, the book that got it all started, lives here as well. Is that an odd coincidence, or is there something behind it?
Right? Isn't that weird? I actually know Lauren, and I ran into
Lauren
Anne.
Weisberger, the author. So, and you know Anne, obviously.
Well, I don't. I mean, I saw her at the Penguin with the restaurant when it was still open. It unfortunately survived. But and I was like, I'm not gonna bother her. But I then went, and I don't know if you remember, we were in a movie together. And she's like, yeah. So does she still live in Westport?
She does.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, you heard she left.
Yes, I thought she moved or something, but I'm not.
I know she's moved within Westport, but I
Oh,
know she is so that's literally just a coincidence that the three of you are here. Okay.
we should do something that could be fun.
I'd like to broker the reunion. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to get the three of you together for a little Devil Wears Prada panel. I might be the only dude in town that could actually host said panel because I'm already prepared. I do. I love the movie because it's always on late at night, when my wife and I are going to bed and we sit there and we watch it before we go to sleep. Okay, so then you've got this other string of movies. And I can't believe, not just Meryl Streep, but we bought a zoo. You're Matt Damon's wife, although you're his deceased wife. You do Dinner with the Schmucks with Steve Carell. And what was that?
I said I'm dead and I have one word in the movie.
Just one word?
Why not? That was it.
How is that one word?
2 words, sorry. One line.
Why not is all you said?
Yes. But you know, my son was really sweet. When the movie ended, he said to me, "Mommy, you had just one line, but you ended the movie. Not everybody does that."
And this is no lie. You're a very memorable, like you don't forget that you're in something. So, I mean, to me, it was a very memorable performance. I mean, granted, your smile gets tattooed on people's brain. That's certainly a part of it, but it was an unforgettable role. Just the part where Matt Damon reenacted the scene in which you guys met in the little cafe there in New York,
I think it
it
was
sticks with you.
Rose Credit and Matt Damon. They really, the way grief was portrayed in that movie
Yeah.
was, that's why you remember, is because you see Matt Damon's pain, and you actually barely see his wife, but you see him revisiting the slideshows, the pictures, and it's a very realistic way of portraying losing someone and how that person has a presence.
Yeah, I teared up. That's probably no surprise. I'm clearly the sensitive one. So then you do Dinner with Schmucks. You've got Steve Carell and Paul Rudd in that one. What was it like working with those two characters?
Oh my God, that movie, that was my first major role, like lead female role in a big movie. And it was, I think so, you know, I started acting when I was 30, really late in the game. There was Devil Wears Prada, but then there was a lot of nothing and really small things. And then I had an amazing chance encounter with a manager who was interested in me, somebody for the first time. And she sent me to LA, and I had just general meetings, auditions. And then last minute, I had this audition for Dinner for Schmucks. And which is a remake of a French movie. And it was a long process to get it, lots of callbacks and all that. And then I'm on set with these guys, and it was amazing, but I felt like I didn't be, it was actually really hard for me. I felt like I was not good enough, that the pressure was really tough. And I think in looking back, it was amazing because it's the first time that I realized, and being a golfer, you know how your mental game is important.
It's everything.
And the first time that I realized, oh, my mental game is important in acting also. I was very comfortable doing indies, but just this big production. So it like helped me be aware of that, and then sort of work on my mental game for acting and performance.
Is Steve Carell just cracking you up all the time, getting you out of character, or what's that like working with him?
He's actually a very gentle, sweet person. He's the most generous. He did make me laugh a lot, but he's so generous. Like when he's not on screen, and when he's off screen and it's your close up, he will do everything in his power to get the reaction that you need to get. You know, I was kind of a newbie, and he's amazing.
And then Iron Man 3, Robert Downey Jr. So here's the tough question.
Yeah.
And don't give me any, they're all terrific actors, they're wonderful guys. We understand that. We know that. We're factoring this in. You can't punt, you can't take a mulligan. If you could work with one of these, and I'm going back to Matt Damon, Steve Carell, Paul Rudd, Robert Downey Jr. If you could work just one of those men for the rest of your career, who is it and why? Or I'll give you an option B.
What is this? The marry, fuck, or whatever game?
Marry, kill, fuck.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Oh, no. Let's
That would be better.
No. Who would I work with? When I interrupted you. You were
Come on,
say,
you got to play Marry, kill, fuck now.
No.
Not gonna do it.
No. I would say maybe the most unexpected one. I don't know what he's gonna do any second. Is Robert Downey Jr. So I would probably.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Because he's random. He's just a crazy guy.
He's an artist. They're all amazing, and they're all artists. Matt Damon is incredible, but yeah, Robert is. Let's just say you came to set in the morning. This is true. We had a script, and we would never shoot what was on the page because he just can't have something that he needs to follow. So he was like, okay, well, rehearse. Okay, now let's go rewrite it. And we would
So he's just maniacal.
What does that mean?
I mean, he's constantly pushing the envelope and never satisfied, which is probably what makes him great.
Yes. And I think he gets off the unexpected, the unknown, the thrill, so that's fun to be around.
Are you still on your first beer?
Yes, but it's a huge can. And
How?
I'm a
You're
light
what?
3:30 in the afternoon.
Are you going to keep drinking into the night, or you just call it a day at like 4 o'clock?
I'm going to go have a smoke. Then I'll probably have a glass of wine with dinner.
Are you just totally isolated, or does the crew? It seems like you're all really good friends. Do you all hang out?
We and I'm not just saying that. I know everybody says that, but we really are. Last night we had a girls' night out with all the girls, and I am not a girls' night out person. I think I just don't like that term, girls' night out. It's just like, ugh, it sounds so. Sorry, I don't.
Sounds lame.
Love my girlfriends, but. And then we went there, and I said that to them, and I was like, guys, this is the best night. It's a great group of people.
John Stroley wants to know, which character role can you relate to the most? I don't know if he means on A Million Little Things. I think he means throughout your career, though.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Which character?
Probably not Jacqueline, I assume.
Although I did work at Chanel, I mean, I wasn't an executive, but I would say probably just Delilah, not because of the cheating part, not because of the widow part, but just because she's a mom, the mom part. And also I've done this role the longest. And so I think it has the most of me than any other role.
Okay. All right. Now, I told you I was going to come full circle back to your ideal Westport day. If you get like an 80-degree, low humidity, beautiful Westport day, how are you starting it? Take me all the way through to when you're shutting it down. It could be a mix of restaurants in there or cafes. It could be just the beach and golf. What are we doing?
We are starting with going to Campo Beach and jumping in the Sound at high tide with my kids who want to hang out just for a little bit of the day. And then they go do their thing. And then my husband and I go play golf at Longshore. And this is something that happened. Let's say this happens. We get paired up with 2 people. We take them on and we have a great match. We win. And then dinner for sure. Maybe we go by Craft Butcher Shop. Craft. I love Craft. I call the guys in there the Butcher Boys because they're kind of sexy.
Is that right? Sexy butchers.
Yes. I think it should be a show, like a TV show. Right. Anyways.
Hold on. Are we getting a steak, a burger? What are we getting? What's the cut?
Lamb burgers for the next day. We're just planning. And then we go to Walrus Alley, which is the new, remember it used to be a German restaurant?
Yes, Walrus Alley's very good.
Yeah. And we eat outside and we have some fried chicken and waffles and ribs. And I love to eat eat with my fingers. And
you get all messy?
Yes.
I love it. Now, I just had a burger at Matchburger Lobster. If you haven't been there, it was unbelievable. Over there on Saugatuck, near Saugatuck Suites, right across from the Welk.
Yeah.
Near Fleshman. Yeah. And it is terrific. Oh, man. I mean, as good a burger as you'll ever have. So,
is there meat because I know the Welk takes their meat from Kraft, from Fleischer's.
Yes, from Fleischer's. Yes, they're connected. So that's where they get their meat. Oof. So you're going to have to try it now.
Yes.
All right. There was
probably great restaurant. I do miss Jessup Hall, but the Mexican place.
Well, yeah, Bill got bored of it. He got bored and he felt like it was too heavy and just too much. But Don Memo was fantastic. There's plenty of good burgers around. You probably like his other place, the Well Kakawani, which are fantastic.
Taiwanese, yes,
Oh,
and the
so you're closing it down at with some barbecue. That was our last stop.
yes, yeah.
There was no coffee in there.
Coffee at home. Okay, my husband makes me coffee every morning. He's unbelievable. So that's my favorite way to have coffee is my husband brings me my cup.
So you do a nice job. It's obviously not the Keurig or whatever.
No,
No.
no. Great coffee, and then steams the milk, and yeah, almond
Okay.
milk. Yeah.
Okay, good. I know you're about out of time, but Deli wants to know, Deli Cholet, perhaps, is it weird watching yourself on TV? Do you ever do it? I never have watched myself on TV.
Um. Well, yeah, it makes me cringe. It's very odd. Was unable to do it. You never do, but then now I do because I kind of learn. I learned things, and what I did learn, which is funny, is sometimes you're doing something and you're like, oh, this was good, and then sometimes you're doing something and you're like, oh, that really sucked, and then you see the result, and you realize that you might not be your best judge. What you thought was so great actually sucks.
I cannot watch myself on TV. It's like fingernails on the chalkboard. Just can't do it. All right, one more. Do you still feel more French or American, or are you just a true hybrid?
I like the hybrid. Yeah, we have a saying in French. It's called "J'ai le cul entre deux chaises," which means I have my ass in between two chairs, and so yeah, a hybrid.
Say it. Say the expression again.
J'ai le cul entre deux chaises.
That's fantastic. So your ass is on two chairs.
In between, when you're sitting and there's you like
Yeah.
you're yeah.
Like
So
when you sit on the crack. Well,
yeah,
you know what I meant. Yeah, that didn't come out as well as I intended, but
but you
you know
are.
what I was.
Yeah, but
All right, so speaking of the true hybrid, is that what your kids are doing? Are they in hybrid schools, and how are they hanging in there?
yeah, they're doing the 2 day a week.
Yeah,
Um,
they're middle school, high school.
High school and middle school. Kids are amazing. They're so resilient, and I'm away, and I think it's great that in a way that I am away because it forces them to be in charge of it. I mean, obviously, my husband is there and is doing an amazing job, but probably not as helicopterish than I would be, and so it's good for them to figure it out.
I'm sure he's doing a heck of a job. You're a long ways away. It's been a real pleasure. I look forward to maybe a little happy hour in person next time here in Westport,
Let's
perhaps around a golf. Do you beat your husband, by the way?
I don't anymore. When we met, I think me being a golfer was kind of a good thing in my favor. I had a varsity jacket. We met in college. I was in Paris for a year abroad. This is my last story. And he came to me and he was like, "Do you know what you're wearing? Because French people have Yankee hats and they don't know." And I'm like, "Yeah, my varsity jacket." He's like, "What, you play golf?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "No, you don't." And I was like, "Yes, I do." And so then we went on the golf course. And back then I beat him, but I no longer do.
But now he's come along. Now he beats you, huh?
Yeah, I think he's a 4 handicap, and I'm probably a 10 or 11 now.
Do you still have the varsity jacket?
I do.
Oh yeah! Hey, you need to post a picture on Instagram with the varsity jacket. That will be legit. When we play golf, please wear it.
Okay.
Please do. We play our round at Longshore. Stephanie Szostak, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much. November 19th, right? 10 o'clock Eastern Time, season 3 starts.
Yes.
I cannot wait. Set your DVRs, ABC, November 19, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, season 3 of an outstanding show, A Million Little Things. It's wonderful to meet you. Thanks so much. And cheers. How do we say it again?
Chin Chin and Chin Chin, Westport and Fairfield County.
All right, we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate you joining us. What a pleasure it was to be with Stephanie Szostak from the terrific show, A Million Little Things. What an amazing person she is. You can see part of the reason that show is so successful is she just lights up the screen every time she's on it, and such a real and genuine superstar actress. Thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Happy Friday. DM me, follow me at Dave Briggs TV, and let me know who you'd like us to interview. Again, that can be Westport, Wilton, that can be Fairfield, Darien, Greenwich, or Stamford. We'd love your suggestions. Keep the questions coming too. We love getting those fan questions in to some people like Stephanie. Have a great weekend and thank you.